Have you ever wanted to breed your fish so that you can make some extra cash or in-store credit? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to set up a breeding tank. Coming up. Hey, what's up? It's Tyler here on Aquariums with Ty, bringing you the best tips and reviews for you to try on your aquariums. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And hey, at any point in the video, check out the notes and links in the description below. I'll post all the products that I use on this aquarium so that you can find them online. Let's get into the video. So the first thing you're going to need when breeding fish is an aquarium. So you can choose whatever kind of aquarium you want. I recommend a mid-size aquarium from either 40 or 55 gallons. You can of course breed fish in a 10 or 20 gallon tank. It's just your water is going to foul a lot faster, so that's why I recommend a bigger tank. You also don't have to have a glass aquarium. You can use a plastic tote or some kind of outdoor pond if you wanted. Basically, you need a container that holds water. Oftentimes people say that it's more advantageous for you to use a more shallow aquarium because then the fish babies will be able to find food easier when you're feeding them. But there's tricks that you can do to where you don't really have to have a shallow aquarium. I'll show you how I feed fish fry in a future video. Alright, so you got an aquarium, now you need a filter. The number one filter that I recommend is a sponge filter. And it doesn't really matter what brand that you use. I'll link just one on Amazon. You can pick whatever one you want. Really, the main thing that you need is you need it to be safe for fish fry. And sponge filters don't suck up fish fry like hang-on back filters or overflow systems for sumps. Another good reason is you're trying to breed for profit, right? So having a cheap filter will help you get started easier. Also, you'll need just an air pump to run the filter, which is also pretty cheap. On this aquarium, I'm going to be using a Tetra air pump. I've had it for about a year and it's still quiet and it works perfect. There's all kinds of air pumps out there. You can go as fancy as you want or as simple as you want. You can also use one air pump for multiple different sponge filters if you wanted. You just have to get a link that goes to the airline tubing, and I'll link that in the description below as well. Also, another good advantage of having a sponge filter is the fish will actually eat little food particles that get sucked into it, as well as algae growing on it. Also, underneath the sponge filter is a good place for them to hide too. Like I said, if you're trying to make money, I wouldn't use anything other than a sponge filter just because of how cheap and effective and long lasting they are. On this aquarium, I'm using a great budget heater. It's a Tetra heater and it'll keep the temperature around 78 degrees. If you have a warm house or a warm room in the house, you don't even have to really heat your aquarium depending on what fish you're keeping. Also, if you're keeping your fish outside in a tote or in some kind of outdoor pond, you don't even need to have a heater in that either, depending on how warm it is outside. Just make sure if you are buying a heater, make sure you buy the proper size for the aquarium that you're using. Don't try to use a smaller heater on a bigger aquarium because it won't effectively heat your aquarium. So once the baby fish are born, you're going to need a place for them to hide because the mother will actually eat them. What I'm using Java Fern and Java Fern Windalov. Also, the sponge filters in here will provide cover for the fish to hide as well. And the bigger the plant gets, the more hiding that the baby fish will have. Also, the reason I'm using Java Fern is because it's super easy to grow and it has really low demands when it comes to lighting. So I'll be able to sell the Java Fern and the fish fry later on in the future. I definitely recommend using fish and plants that can be grown together because then you're growing two things in one aquarium. Then you can add a third thing like snails and shrimp. So then you'll have three things growing in your aquarium that you can sell. If you decide to use Java Fern like I'm using in this aquarium, you can still keep your aquarium a bare bottom aquarium so that you can keep the water parameters a lot better, because when you have a substrate in an aquarium, there tends to get a lot of uneaten food and poop caught in the substrate. And that's because Java Fern doesn't need to be planted in a substrate, it actually feeds from the water column. Java Fern is also super easy to propagate. All you have to do is cut the rhizome. I'll show you that in a future video. I definitely recommend using an auto feeder on a breeding tank. I haven't decided what I'm going to use on this one yet, so I'll let you guys know in a future video. Also, another thing to note, you're going to want to let algae grow in your aquarium so that the baby fish have something to graze on all day long, and it'll increase their rate of growth. I know it's ugly, but it's super beneficial to baby fish. It also helps your water parameters. I'll probably just clean the front panel of this aquarium so that you guys can see the progress of my fish, but I plan to let some algae grow. So question of the day, how do you guys set up your breeding tanks? I'd love to know in the comments below. Also, thanks for checking out this video. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and ring the bell. And until next time guys, Aquariums with Ty bringing you the best tips and reviews for you to try on your aquariums. See you later.